Reading through the analyst notes, it seems investors, analysts, pleased with your results so far. I wonder, when you look at this kind of success, how do you then reward those who invested in your company? I know that they have been asking for a bigger dividend. I know that they've been asking for more buybacks. Can you give any cash back to investors?
So, yeah, it was a record first half year in terms of EBITDA. And as you said, 10 consecutive quarters of year-on-year EBITDA growth is a pretty promising performance for us as a startup company. We've seen a lot of good growth in the market, and that is very positive. But what's happening at the moment is we're seeing a lot of strength in sales as prices have risen with a very, very high industry utilization rate. So we've been profiting from that as well. But not only that, we've been improving our mix in terms of product range, and that's been driving the sales value, and that all dropped straight through to the bottom line. So that combination is very positive. It generates a lot of cash, and as you say, our shareholders would like some share of that cash, and we have said to them that if within the next 24 months we don't carry out a significant inorganic growth step, then we will share that with our shareholders. I have to say, most of our shareholders who were in from the beginning have enjoyed the almost threefold rise in our share price. So we do, and I do meet many of our shareholders who started with us at the beginning and are very pleased with that performance. Beyond that, we obviously have to invest some capex in growth. It's not a huge amount, and we've said over and above that there will be something like 5 billion euros of cash generated over the next 5 years. Now, what we've also said to the investor base is if we haven't used a significant amount of that in the next 24 months, then we will return that either through share buyback or through special dividend. And that really gives us an opportunity to look at add-ins to our portfolio. It's not going to be some mega deal. There's no opportunity for a fourth leg in this business. We're world number one in polyurethane and in polycarbonate technology. So it's really got to be through add-in acquisitions which add more specialty elements to our coatings, adhesive specialty business, about 2 billion of our portfolio, that we would like to grow inorganically.
That makes sense. Obviously, if your sales are growing, you want to take advantage of that. If you think there are areas where you can strengthen your business through acquisitions, I know you've been talking about this in the past. Not a major deal, but what parts of the coatings and specialty unit do you think needs strengthening? Which areas would you look to do those add-in purchases in?
So I think there's one important, first of all, overriding check on any inorganic growth, and that is it has to be value creating. You know, in a world with very cheap money around, a lot of people are doing deals which, to be honest, I think they will regret in the future. We will only do any sort of acquisition if it is value creating for our shareholders, and that already rules out a number of possibilities. And we want to achieve one of two things with those bolt-ins. We either want to increase our geographical scope for businesses we're already in, or we want to add new technologies into the portfolio to enhance the range of technologies we can offer to the 4,500 customers we have in that business area. So it's got to fit those criteria. Those are quite strict, but we have a list of something of the order of 400 different possible targets. I'm clearly not going to speculate on them with you today, otherwise they might get rather expensive, but that's the way we're looking at it. And typically they're small. They're relatively minimal in size, and they are probably not even on anybody else's radar screen. Very specialist types of company, very often family-owned, technology-driven enterprises.
We certainly don't want to let any cats out of the bag. Patrick, very good morning to you. It's Manus in London. I'm curious to get your perspective. We spend a lot of time talking about the value of the euro. We ruminate over the rising value of the euro. You're doing business with it. It's your calling card. Is it overvalued for you? Is it getting to be a bit of a headache for you? Is it as much of a headache as we're making it out to be?
Well, I think the only area we see currency exposure having any sort of impact, and it's really the first time in the decade or more that I've been here that I've even talked about FX. The strength compared to the dollar is the important one for us. UK and Brexit is really not a big deal. It's 2% of our business. Everything we invoice in the UK, we invoice in euro, not in pounds. In America, we're pretty much self-contained. We're actually a net exporter from our manufacturing facilities in America, so it's not a big deal. Our costs are in the same currency as our sales, and the same is pretty much true in Asia.